Krishna. Jai Shishi Guru Gauranga Gandhar Vikagiri Shishi Radha Vinod Vihari Ju ki Jai. Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju ki Jai. Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupar Ashutara Shita Shishmar Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Gosai Maharaj Shila Guru Dev ki Jai. Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupar Ashutara Shita Shishmar Bhakti Vedanta Vaman Gosai Maharaj ki Jai. Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupar Ashutara Shita Shishmar Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashitara Shata Shishmad Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashitara Shata Shishmad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki Jai. Nityal Pravishtam Mahābhāgavata Srila Gaurkishora Babaji Maharaj ki Jai. Nityal Pravishta Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki Jai. Nityal Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki Jai. Shri Rupa No Gauriya Guru Varga ki Jai. Saparshad Shri Gaur Nityananda Prabhu ki Jai. Shri Hari Shri sorry, I spaced up for a second. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki Jai. Jai Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata ki Jai. Jai Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur ki Jai. Jai Shri the Gaudiya Bhashya of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki Jai. Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki Jai. Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai. Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Hare Krishna, everybody. Dandavat pranams. Satya Mataji, Ananta Om, Champak Mataji, and Raseshwari Mataji, Ganga Mataji, and Kishore Prabhu. Hari Bol, everybody. Yes, and I have the spotlight on, so I'm being shown. Nobody else is. Okay, so sorry everybody, I had a bit of a crazy morning this morning, so that's why I'm starting a bit late. Okay. We'll do the Mangalacharya. Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tarbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Namo avatirna sakarunya parichinno sarishvaro Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Dvau Bhrataro Bhaje. Namastrikala Satyaya Jagannatha Sutaya Cha Sabhrityaya Saputraya Sakalatraya Te Namaha. Jaya Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Lakshmi Kanta Jaya Jaya Nityananda Vallabha Ekanta Jaya Jaya Vaikunta Ishwarnyasi Raj Jaya 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 Bhakata Samaj Jaya Jaya Patita Pavana Gora Chandra Dana Deha Hridaye Tomar Pada Dvanda Sheshakhanda Katha Bhai Shuno Ekachite Nīlācale Gaura Chandra Aila Jemate Tavai Vasmi Na Jivami Tvaya Vina Ete Vigyaya Devi Tvang Nayamang Charanantikam Bhaktya Vihina Aparada Lakshai Kshiptashtakamaदितराङ्गमध्ये कृपामयि त्वं शरणं प्रपन्ना वृन्दे नमस्ते चरणारविन्दं भज श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृन्द हरे कृष्णा Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Because we're starting late today, I'm just going to do the last verse of the glories of Caitanya-bhāgavata and Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur from Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. Sahaje vichitra madhur Chaitanya vihar Vrindavan dasa mukhe amrite dhar. By nature, all the activities of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu are very wonderful and sweet. And when they are described by Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur, they become like a shower of nectar. Jai, Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur ki jai. The Gaudiya Bhashya of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki jai. Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata ki jai. Śrī Saच्चिदानन्द and Gadādhara Hari ki jai. Śrī Nitāy Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. All right. So, where did we leave off yesterday? Yesterday we finished, well, not yesterday, the previous reading. We finished the first chapter. Let's do a little recap of that. And the second, anyways, first we'll read this. I'm not going to read the whole thing, this part of it, but yeah. So the first chapter of Antya-khaṇḍa describes the beginning. It's saying this entire Antya-khaṇḍa mainly deals with Lord Gaurahari's transcendental, ecstatic pastimes of preaching the holy names as a sannyasi. So we read about Mahaprabhu's stay in Katwa on the night he accepted sannyas from Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata, the Lord's instructing Mukunda to begin kirtan, the Lord's bestowing love of God on Bharati, and his departure towards Nīlācala with Bharati, the Navadip residents' feeling of separation, and a voice when they were on the verge of all committing, like many of them were about to commit suicide, then a voice from the sky came and pacified them and said, Gaur Haris will be coming very soon after a couple of days. And so then we read about the Lord's entrance into Radhadesh, his sudden change of direction from westward to eastward, the Lord's arrangement of sending Nityānanda to Navadvip to pacify Mother Shachi and the devotees, the Lord's arrival in Pulia, and the Navadvip residents meeting with him. That was such a dramatic description of when all the devotees found out that the Lord's going to be in Pulia when Nityananda brought the news. And so then everybody, the women, children, even pregnant ladies, everybody, all the elderly, everybody was rushed to rushing to Pulia. And then there's a description of how they tried to cross the river, and some people would use up overturned pots as like a raft, and in every way possible, and like the boat would be so full of people, and sometimes the boat would turn over, but somehow everybody made it to the other side without any problems by the mercy of Mahaprabhu. And then so then the devotees met with Mahaprabhu. That was such a beautiful description as well. And then the Lord's arrival at the house of Advaita Acharya in Shantipur, his hearing about the science of the absolutes from the mouth of Achyutananda, little Achyutananda, he was only 5 years old, Advaita Acharya's son. Then Nityananda and the devotees' arrival at Shantipur, the Lord's performance of ecstatic dancing and chanting at the house of Advaita, and the Lord sitting on the throne of Vishnu and revealing his own glories. So that was what we read in the previous chapter, chapter 1 of Antya-khaṇḍa, and now we are beginning chapter 2. And this chapter 2, I just looked last night. It is very long. It will probably take, so with chapter 2, I'm in a bit of a dilemma. This is what's going to happen, I think, because right now it's the 12th, and we're starting a little small Navadvip Parikrama on the 16th. And so I don't think I'm going to be able to finish chapter 2 before the 16th. So what I might have to do is just for the ends of the chapter 2, like for what's left, I'm going to have to pre-record videos. Yeah. And now with this new plan that I have with Restream, they only give me half an hour of like pre-recorded video time. But I'll pre-record a video and then I'll make the video go live when it's time. Or maybe I could just do a premiere on YouTube. Then I can make it an hour long. Yeah, and then we'll finish up the chapter. So there might be a couple readings at the end that will be pre-recorded. All right. So beginning chapter 2. I wonder why Satyamataji left. Okay, chapter 2, description of the Lord's travel through Bhuvaneshwar and other places to Jagannath Puri. I mean, I meant to say Satyamataji, not to say Śrī Mataji. Hari Bol Rukmini Didi, Hari Priya Didi, and everybody. Hari. Shayana Mandire. देवानंद गौड़िया माटु गौड़िया गीति कुछ है और गौड़िया कीर्तन ऐप में भी है हाँ शायन मंदिरे. Okay, description of the Lord's travel through Bhuvaneshwar and other places to Jagannath Puri. This chapter describes Mahaprabhu's journey to Nīlācala with devotees headed by Nityānanda and Gadādhara. His making the villages Āṭisārā and Chatrabhoga glorious. I've been to Chatrabhoga. His acceptance of ferry boat arrangements and other services from the fortunate Ramachandra Khan. His journey in Orissa via Suvarna-rekha River, Jaleshwar, Remuna, Yajapur, Vaitarani, Katak, Shakshi Gopal, Bhuvaneshwar, Kamalapur, Āṭisārā, and entry into Puri. Śrī Nityananda's pastime of breaking the Lord's sannyas danda near the Suvarna-rekha, and the Lord's falling unconscious in ecstasy while attempting to embrace Lord Jagannath inside the Jagannath temple. Then Sarvabhauma's bringing the Lord to his own house, the Lord's pastimes of regaining external consciousness, and then honoring Mahaprasad at the house of Sarvabhauma. So those are all the topics that we're going to be reading about over the next week or so. Yeah. All right, I'm going to skip this more in-depth summary and we'll read it later on, like in the coming days. Hari Bol Shubhananda Prabhu and Krishna Mai Didi. Oh, Rasikananda Maharaj does premiere. Okay, cool. That's good to know. Yeah, okay, maybe I might do that. Okay. Jaya Jaya Gora Jaya Jaya Gora Chandra Jaya Sarva Pran Jaya Dushta Bhayankar Jaya Shishta Tran. All glories to Gora Chandra. All glories to the life and soul of all. All glories to you, the personification of fear for the miscreants. All glories to the deliverer of the devotees. Gaudiya Bhashya by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada. Since Śrī Caitanya is Swayamrup Śrī Krishna, he is the life and soul of all living entities. He is the fierce Yamaraj for the miscreants who are envious of Hari, Guru, and Vaishnav. For sober devotees like Prahlad, he is the deliverer from aversion to devotional service. After accepting the renounced order of life, Śrī Krishna Chaitanya Dev did not accept that the living entities are one with Brahman or that this material world is false. The Mayavadis, who do not discriminate between sinful and sober persons and the fruit of workers, who do not so the Mayavadis who do not discriminate between sinful and sober persons and the fruit of workers who do discriminate are both enthusiastic for material activities born of the three modes of nature. But since Sri Gaurasundar did not approve of such conceptions of the materialists, karmis, jnanis, and yogis, he exhibited the pastime of preaching pure devotional service and distributing ecstatic love of Krishna. Jai Shesha Rama Aja Bhaver Ishwar Jaya Kripa Sindhu Dina Bandhu Nyasti Vara. All glories to the Lord of Ananta Shesh, Lakshmi, Brahma, and Shiva. All glories to the best of the sannyasis, who is an ocean of mercy and the friend of the poor. Gaudiya Bhashya. Since the Panchopasaks, who worship 5 deities, and those who worship many deities wrongly conclude that the guna avatars Shiva and Brahma, as well as Lakshmi, the potency of the Supreme Lord, and Anantashesh, the servant of the Lord, are equal to Swayamrup Krishna, the devotees have established that Krishna alone is the Lord of all demigods and servants. The Lord is the demigod, Krishna alone is the Lord of all demigods and servants of those who are subordinate to him. He's the Lord of them as well. So that no one would consider that Mahaprabhu was not the preacher of a Mahabhagavat's pastimes by considering him an ordinary karmi or jnani sannyasi, who are both forced to enjoy the fruits of their karma. Mahaprabhu was the only friend of the karmis, jnanis, materialists, and fallen souls. He was the friend of the devotees. He was most merciful. He was the Lord of all, and he was Swayamrup Krishna. Since he enacted the pastime of giving up all the misconceptions of the materialists, karmis, jnanis, and pseudo-devotees, he is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, Śrī Krishna. To reveal that all manifestations are exhibitions of his Achinta Bheda Bhed, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, accepted the dress of the best of the Mahabhagavat sannyasis. Rather than attributing the spirit of worldly enjoyment on the Supreme Lord and accepting the human beings as God, the Supreme Lord remained aloof from the conceptions of material time, place, and circumstance in the course of adventing in this world, in India, in Bengal, in Nadia, to teach the conclusion of Achinta Bheda Bhed philosophy and to enact the pastime of awarding living entities the ultimate goal of life. Hare Krishna Amit Tandikar. Bhakta Goshti Sahita Gauranga Jai Jai Kripa Karo Prabhu Jeno Tohe Man Rai. All glories to Gauranga along with his devotees. O Lord, please be merciful to me so that my mind may remain fixed on you. Henumate Shri Gora Sundara Shanti Pure Gorila Ashesharanga Advaiter Ghare. In this way, Shri Gaurasundar performed unlimited pastimes at the house of Advaita in Shantipur. Bahuvida apanara hasya katha range sukhe ratri goaila bhakta gana sange. The Lord happily passed the entire night with the devotees, discussing various confidential topics about Krishna. Gaudiya Bhashya. The Lord passed the entire night with the devotees, relishing uninterrupted happiness by discussing confidential topics regarding Krishna, the transcendental form of attraction for all kinds of devotees. Pohailo Nisha Prabhu Kori Nija Kritya Boshilen Chaturdige Bedi Savabhritya. At the end of the night, the Lord performed his daily morning duties and sat down in the midst of his servants. Prabhu bole ami choli laya Nīlācala kichu dukha na bhavi ho tomra sakale. The Lord said, I will go to Nīlācala. Do not feel unhappy. Nīlācala Chandra dekhi ami punarbar Asya hoibo shangi toma sabakar. After seeing the Lord of Nīlācala, I will return and meet you all again. Shavegiya shukhe grihe koroho kirtan janma janma tumi sab amar jivan. All of you go home and joyfully engage in kirtan. Birth after birth, you are my very life. Bhaktagan bole Prabhu, je tomar icha, kar shakti taha kori bare bare micha. The devotee said, O Lord, you do as you wish. Who has the power to make you do otherwise? Gaudiya Bhashya. In the Chandogya Upanishad 3.14.2, the Lord is described as Satya Sankalpa, he whose desire always comes to pass. In the Narad Pancharatra 1.12.26, it is stated, Veda nirvachaniyam cha svecham ayam adhishvaram nityam satyam nirgunam cha jyoti rupam sanatanam. The Lord is unapproachable by the Vedas. He is supremely independent, the controller of all, eternal, truthful, transcendental to mundane qualities, effulgent and primeval. Tatapi ho hoyache durghata shamoy, she raje ekon keho patanahi boy. So the devotees are said, still traveling nowadays is dangerous. Therefore, no one goes to that kingdom now. Gaudiya Bhashya. Since the Mohammedan kings of Bengal made a huge arrangement to attack the kingdom of Orissa, travelers from Bengal to Nīlācala became greatly apprehensive. The Mohammedan king of Bengal had for a long time instigated his subordinates to attack Orissa. What to speak of this? Shortly thereafter, the king even plans to personally lead an attack to destroy Orissa with Sanatan Goswami at his side. The same year that Śrī Gaurasundar returned from Kanai Natshala while on his way to Vrindavan, the devotees had warned him of the dangers of traveling to Vrindavan. Dui raje hoyache atyanta vibad mahadasyus sthane sthane parama pramad. The devotees said, there's great animosity between the two kingdoms, and many rogues are creating havoc at various places. Javat utpatanahi upashamahoy, tavat vishrama koro jadi chiteloy. If you like, wait here until such disturbances subside. Prabhu bole je shekene utpatana hoy. Avashya chaliva mui kohinu nishchoy. The Lord said, I have decided I must go regardless of any disturbances. Pujilen advaita prabhur chitta vrita, cholilen nilachale na hoilo nibrita, na hoilo nibrita. Advaita understood the Lord's intention. He would not be stopped from going to Nīlācala. Haribo, Yamuna Didi. Joda has. Oh, and Nuri Hari Prabhu and Bhavatarani Maharji. I didn't see. Hari Krishna. Joda haste satya katha lagila kohite. Ke pare tomar patta virodha korite. So wait, Advaita Acharya. Advaita Acharya folded his hands and spoke the following truth. Who can obstruct your path? Jata vigna Āṭisārā kinkar tomare korite vigna shakti achekar. All obstacles are your servants. Therefore, who has the power to place obstacles before you? Gaudiya Bhashya. In the Brahma Samhita 550, it is stated, Yatpada pallava yugam vinidhaya kumbha Twande pranama samaye saganadiraja vignan vihantum alam asya jagatrayasya govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. I worship the primeval Lord Govinda. Ganesh always holds his lotus feet upon a pair of tumuli protruding from his elephant head in order to obtain power for his function of destroying all obstacles in the path of progress in the three worlds. What's tumuli? Oh, I guess that's the two things, the two humps on the head of a elephant. That's what I think it is. Yes, of course. Okay. In the Śrīmad Bhagavatam 11.4.10, it is stated, Kam sevatam surakrita bhavantaraya swauko vilankhya paramam vrajatam padante Nanyasya barhishi palindadata svabhagam datte padang tamavitaya divignam murdhani. One second, just moving this to the side. Okay. The demigods place many obstacles on the path of those who worship you. Sorry, the demigods place many obstacles on the path of those who worship you to transcend the temporary abodes of the demigods and reach your supreme abode. They don't want them to transcend them, so they place lots of obstacles. Those who offer the demigods their assigned shares in sacrificial performances encounter no such obstacles. But because you are the direct protector of your devotee, he is able to step over the head of whatever obstacle the demigods place before him. One should also discuss Srimad Bhagavatam 1.1.14 and 10.2.33. So Advaita said, all obstacles are your servants. Therefore, who has the power to place obstacles before you? Jokhone koriya acho chitta Nīlācala, tokhone choliba Prabhu mahakutuhale. Since you have decided to go to Nīlācala, you should go in great happiness. Shuniya Advaita Vakya Prabhu Shuki Hoila, Parama Santoshe Hari Bolite Lagila. On hearing Advaita's words, the Lord became pleased. He began to chant the name of Hari in great satisfaction. Shekhane Mahaprabhu Matta Singha Gati, Cholilen Shubakori Nīlācala Prati. At that moment, Mahaprabhu departed for Nīlācala, walking like a maddened lion. Hare Krishna Gopal Ganesham Prabhu. Dhaya chalila pache sab bhaktagan keho nahi pare samvari pare krantan. Samvari pare krantan. The devotees all ran behind him. None of them could control their crying. Koto durgiya prabhu shi gora sundar, Saba prabhu dhena boli madhur uttar. After walking some distance, Sri Gaurasundar solaced everyone with sweet words. He said, Chitte ke ho kono kichu, na bhavi ho vyatha, toma saba ami nahi, charibo sarvatha. Mahaprabhu said, do not be unhappy at heart, for I will never leave you under any circumstance. Krishna naam loho shabe boshi giya ghare, ami ho asibo dina kotoko bhitare. Chant the name of Krishna while sitting at home. I will return within a few days. Gaudiya Bhashya. While sending the devotees home, Sri Gaurasundar solaced them as follows. Go home and chant the names of Krishna. I am going to Nīlācala with a desire to glorify the Supreme Lord from place to place. In due course of time, I will return and meet you. By the strength of chanting the pure name of Krishna, you will not face any difficulties, even while living at home. You are all liberated souls. Therefore, you are all qualified to chant the name of Krishna. As a result of perfection in chanting the name of Krishna, you will be attracted to Krishna's forms, qualities, associates, characteristics, and pastimes. Then I will meet you again and reveal to you the states of immortality and freedom from lamentation and fear. Ato boli Mahaprabhu sarva Vaishnavere, pratyeke dhori alingana kore. After speaking these words, Mahaprabhu embraced every one of the Vaishnavas. Prabhur nayana jale sarva bhaktagan, sinchita hoya anga koren krandan. All the devotees became soaked with the Lord's tears, and they began to cry. E mata nana rupe sabha prabodhiya, cholilen prabhu dakshinabhimuka hoya. After solacing everyone in this way, the Lord proceeded towards the south. কান্দিয়া কান্দিয়া প্রেমে সব ভক্তগণ উঠি উঠেন পড়েন পৃথিবীতে অনুক্ষণ. The devotees shed tears in ecstatic love, and they repeatedly fell to the ground and got up. They would stand up and then again fall to the ground, and stand up and then again fall to the ground repeatedly. Jeno gopi gana Krishna mathura chalile, ডুবিলেন মহাশোক সমুদ্রের জলে যে রূপে রহিল তাহা সবার জীবন সেই মত বিরহে রহিলা ভক্তগণ. As the gopis merged in an ocean of great lamentation when Krishna left for Mathura, the devotees felt similar feelings of separation and somehow survived in the same way. Gaudiya Bhashya. For an explanation of this pastime, see Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th Canto, chapter 39, verses 13 to 37. Daive she Prabhu Bhakta Gano she Sava Upama O she Anubhava. By providence, he was the same Lord. They were the same devotees. The situation was the same, and their feelings were the same. Jivana Marana Krishna, Ichai she hoy, Vishaba Amrita Bakile o kichu noy. Life and death depends on the will of Krishna. Drinking poison or nectar does nothing on its own. Interesting verse. Gaudiya Bhashya. A person may die in this material world by drinking poison, and a living entity may gain eternal life by drinking nectar. Only by the will of Krishna can material objects and spiritual objects award fruits. But if the will of Krishna withdraws the power and propensities of those objects, they are unable to award such fruits. The conversation between Uma and Shiva is witness. The conversation between Uma and Shiva is witness and evidence of this fact. This is just reminding me. Have you ever heard a story of? I need to get this confirmed. I've mentioned it before, but Srila Gaura Govinda Goswami Maharaj had an operation done on him, and he didn't take like they're cutting his skin open and like doing an operation like that. This is what I heard at least. Um, and he didn't take any anesthesia or anything like that, whatever you call it. And he didn't feel any pain. He was just completely peaceful chanting Harinam, even though he refused to take any painkillers or anything like that. And but Krishna, by the will of Krishna, material objects and spiritual objects can award fruits. So Krishna, if Krishna wills, he'll withdraw the power and propensities of those objects so that they won't be able to award such fruits. So he can reverse the effect of of poison or nectar or anything like that. So I'm just, yeah, anyways, never mind. Jay mate jahare Krishna Chandra rakhe mare taha boy ar keho korite na pare. No one can imitate how Krishna Chandra saves someone and kills someone else. Gaudiya Bhashya. Oops, let me just fix this font. Okay. Despite being inclined towards the Lord's service, many persons, because of committing Vaishnava aparad, consider the Lord's devotees as ordinary mortal beings by seeing them separate from the Lord. By thinking that Hari, Guru, and Vaishnav are mortal, they cannot achieve realization of their Satchidananda status because of madness for sense gratification. As a result, they end up either knowingly or unknowingly becoming envious of Hari and Guru. Some of them dedicate themselves to karma-khaṇḍa, and because of desiring material enjoyment, some consider sense gratification and liberation their ultimate goal of life. But they cannot understand that by the will of Sri Krishna Chandra, the Guru and Vaishnavas are able to destroy their narrow-mindedness. The Guru and Vaishnavas are full of Krishna's potencies. There is no difference between the energy and the energetic. Yet the energy can never be identified as the energetic. This is the difference between the philosophies of the impersonalists and the devotees of the Lord. Philosophies like Vishishtadvaita, that's specific monism, Shuddhadvaita, purified dualism, and Shuddhadvaita, purified monism, have manifested from the portions of they have manifested from portions of the philosophy of Achintya-bheda-bhed, which we all know is inconceivable oneness and difference. So Achintya-bheda-bhed is the complete full thing, and then different aspects of that have become Vishishtadvaita, Shuddhadvaita, and Shuddhadvaita and Shuddha-advaita. Topics of the complete understanding have, in the course of narrating Śrī Caitanya's pastimes, been clearly revealed to service-inclined persons by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, the most respectable, staunch follower of Sri Rupa, in the verse Vande Gurun Isha Bhaktan Ishan Isha Avatarakam. And actually, we're adding in this in the Gaudiya Giti Gucha. This will be one of the first songs in the songbook, right after the Guru Parampara song. We'll put in this verse, Vande Gurun Isha Bhaktan, and then all the verses of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami explaining this verse. It's already been laid out and everything. But it explains. It means I offer my respectful obeisances unto the spiritual masters, the devotees of the Lord's incarnations, his plenary portions, his energies, and the primeval Lord himself, Shri Krishna Chaitanya. So Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, the most respectable staunch follower of Sri Rupa, in that verse and in descriptions of the Pancha Tattva, he has revealed to service-inclined persons the complete understanding of Achintya-bheda-bhed. That's how I understand. People who are offenders at the feet of Sri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, and who do not understand the purport of Srimad Bhagavatam, are either gross materialists or Mayavadis. The Mayavadis cannot understand the eternal position of the Lord's variegated energies because of their conception of oneness. In the course of their worship of many gods, the karmis fall into hellish conditions by ascribing differences between Krishna and Guru Vaishnavas. In the Narad Pancharatra 1.14.4, Sri Mahadev says, Rakshita yasya bhagavan kalyanam tasya santatam sa yasya vignakarta cha rakshitum tam chakha kshama. A person who is protected by the Supreme Lord becomes victorious everywhere, and one who is rejected by the Supreme Lord can never be protected by anyone. Okay, so that was, no one can imitate how Krishna Chandra saves someone and kills someone else. Enomate Shri Gaur Sundar Nīlācala, Aisen Choliya Apana Kutuhale. In this way, Shri Gaur Sundar departed for Nīlācala in his own joyful mood. Apana Kutuhale. Nityānanda and Gadādhara Mukunda Govinda Sanghati Jagarananda Ar Brahmananda. The Lord was accompanied by Nityānanda, Gadādhara, Mukunda, Govinda, Jagarananda, and Brahmananda. Pate Prabhu Pariksha Koren Sabha Prati Ki Sambal Ache Bal Kahar Sanghati. On the way, the Lord tested everyone by asking, what assets do you have with you? Evaki diache kare pater sambal, nishkapate mor sthane kohoto shakal. All of you tell me frankly whether anyone has given anything to you for the journey. Shave bole Prabhu bina agyai tomar, kar dravya loite, bashakti ache kar. They replied, O Lord, who has the power to bring anything without your permission? Shuniya Thakur Boro Santosha Hoila, She Loke Tattva Kohite Lagila. Sorry. On hearing their reply, the Lord was greatly satisfied. Thereafter, he explained some truths regarding this topic. Prabhu bole kaharo je kichu na loila. Ihate amar boro santosha korila. The Lord said, I am greatly satisfied that none of you took anything from anyone. Gaudiya Bhashya. Gaura Sundar asked Nityananda, Gadadhar, Mukunda, Govinda, and Brahmananda, what assets do you have with you? In reply, they said, we have no asset other than you. On hearing their words and realizing their unalloyed determination, Gaura Sundar expressed great satisfaction. Since pseudo-devotees who deviate from the path of devotional service imagine a distinction between Guru Vaishnava and the Supreme Lord, they cannot understand the concept of oneness. The philosophy of Achinta Bheda Bhed is the only cause for the nourishment of transcendental mellows. The distinction or variegatedness found in spiritual ras is eternal and is not opposed to the Vedic statement Ekam Eva Dvitiyam. The absolute truth is one without a second. Those who claim, according to the statement of Ekam Eva Dvitiyam, there are no differences born of variegatedness or distinctions in the absolute truth. People who say that are Mayavadis. As soon as the distinction between the Vishai, the object of worship, and Ashray, the worshipper, is denied, as soon as the distinction between them are denied, the philosophy of impersonalism becomes manifest. This is all described in detail in the Radha Vinod Bihari Tattvashtakam. He even uses this statement, Ekam Eva Dvitiyam. Because of a lack of knowledge regarding the distinctions between Vishai and Ashray, unauthorized conclusions and degradation into material enjoyment are achieved, as prominently found among the Buddhists and Sahajiyas. Bhoktavya adrishte thake je dine likhan, aranye o asi mile avashya takhan. If you are destined to receive some eatables, you will certainly obtain them, even if you are in the forest. Mahāprabhu said to Nityānanda, Gadādhara, and who else? Brahmananda, all those devotees who were with him. He's greatly satisfied that I'm greatly satisfied that none of you took anything from anyone. If you are destined to receive some eatables, you'll certainly obtain them even if you're in the forest. Gaudiya Bhashya. In the Brihad Naradiya Purana 774, it is stated, Apratitani dukkani tataiva ayam hi tataivayam hidehinam. Sukhani apitat. No, this is anyways. Sukhani apitata manye daivam atratirichate. Distress comes to embodied souls without asking. Similarly, happiness will also come by the arrangement of providence. Sorry, I messed up that verse. Prabhu jare je divas na likhe ahar rajaputra ho tabu upavasatar. If the Supreme Lord does not set aside food for a person, he will not eat, even if he is the son of a king. Thakile o khaite na pare agya bine akasmat koloho koroye karosane. Without the Lord's sanction, one may not be able to eat, even if there's food, for he may suddenly quarrel with someone. Krodh kori bole mui, na khaimo bhat, divya kori rohe nija shire diye hat. In an angry mood, he may say, I will not eat today. He may even touch his hands to his head and swear to the effect. Atava shakal dravya hoile vidyaman, achambite dehe jwar hoilo adishtan. Otherwise, one may have all varieties of eatables, but he may suddenly be afflicted by fever. Jwar vedanai kota takilo bhakan, ataiva ishwarer ichashe karan. How can he eat while suffering the pain of a fever? Therefore, the will of the Supreme Lord prevails. Tribhuvane Krishna diyachen anachatra, Ishwarer icha thake milivo sarvatra. Krishna has supplied food for the three worlds. If he desires, one will certainly obtain it. Gaudiya Bhashya. Oh, and Rukmini Didi. Oh, sorry. That I haven't been looking at the comments. Sorry about that. I'm just seeing Rukmini Didi. She said in the context of this verse in purport 33, because Mahāprabhu was going to set out on the dangerous path between. Is this because he is about to set out on the dangerous path between Bengal and Orissa? I have to go back to that verse. Let's go back to the verse after we finish what Mahāprabhu says here. So, how can he eat while suffering the pain and fever? Therefore, the will of the Supreme Lord prevails. Tribhuvani Krishna Dhyachani Anachatra Ishwarer Ichatake Milipo Savatara. Krishna has supplied food for the three worlds. If he desires, one will certainly obtain it. Gaudiya Bhashya. Bhojanach chadane chintam vritta kurvanti Vaishnava yoso vishvambaro deva sakim bhaktan upekshate. Vaishnavas do not uselessly worry about food or clothing, for they are devoted to the Supreme Lord, who is known as Vishwambar, he who supplies everyone's necessities. Apane Ishwar Sarva Janere Shikai Ihate Vishwasajar She Shukapai. In this way, the Lord personally taught everyone. One who has faith in his words obtains happiness. Jete mate kene koti prajatna na kore Ishwarer icha hoile she phal dhore. A person may endeavor for something millions of different ways, but the results will come only if the Supreme Lord sanctions it. Gaudiya Bhashya. Being satisfied with the devotees, Śrī Gaurasundar taught them the principle of full surrender. He said, although ample foods may be easily available, by the desire of Krishna, even the son of a king may suffer the pangs of fasting. Although whatever the Supreme Lord sanctions may be rarely attained, one easily achieves it, even while sitting in the forest. Although ample foods may be lying in front of a person, by Krishna's will, that person is afflicted by fever. If by Krishna's will that person is afflicted with a fever, he will be unable to eat. Moreover, the necessities of life automatically come by the will of the Lord. People who are puffed up with false ego and bewildered by illusion cannot understand these topics. Enomate Prabhu Tattva Kohite Kohite Uttarila Asi Āṭisārā Nagarete. As the Lord revealed the truth in this way, they came to the village of Āṭisārā. Gaudiya Bhashya. The village of Āṭisārā is situated near Baruipur, and is presently known as Āṭa-khaṇḍa. Another opinion, Āṭisārā is known as Katki Ghat. Okay, I'm just looking now at this verse 33. Oh yeah, so what is the context where no one can imitate how Krishna Chandra saves someone and kills someone else? The context of this whole topic. In this way, Śrī Gaurasundar departed from Nīlācala in his own joyful mood. Yeah, or I was wondering, or is the context maybe also the Lord is independent? Like, I was wondering if it has to do with the devotees. Let's see. You know, like as the gopis merged in an ocean of great lamentation when Krishna left for Mathura, the devotees felt similar feelings of separation and somehow survived in the same way. I think this might be the context. By providence, he was the same Lord. They were the same devotees. The situation was the same, and their feelings were the same. Life and death depends on the will of Krishna. Drinking poison or nectar does nothing on its own. And so I wonder if, you know, Krishna was, by the will of Krishna, they were staying alive, even though they had such intense separation. The Lord is independent. He can, by his will, everything happens. I wonder if that's like the context. I think that's what it is. But maybe it is about the Lord traveling to Orissa when it's so dangerous. I think. Okay. Heno mate Prabhu Tattva kohite kohite utari. Okay, so they arrived in Āṭisārā. She Āṭisārā grame Mahabhagyavan Achen Paramasadu Śrī Ananta Nam. In that village of Āṭisārā lived one most fortunate saintly person named Śrī Ananta. Rohilen Asi Prabhu Tahar Aloye Ki Kohivo Artar Bhagya Samuchaye. The Lord came and stayed at his house. Who can describe the limit of his good fortune? Ananta Pandita Ati Parama Udar Paya Paramananda Bahya Nahi Ar. Ananta Pandit was greatly magnanimous. He became so blissful that he had no external consciousness. Vaikunter Pati Asi Atiti Hoila Santoshe Bhikkar Saja Korite Lagila. The Lord of Vaikunta became his guest. He therefore happily began to arrange the Lord's lunch. Gaudiya Bhashya. We believe that the place near Baruipur, known as Āṭagara or Āṭagara, in the district of Chobis Pargana, is the place formerly known as Āṭisārā. The Ganga previously flowed near this place. From this place, Mahāprabhu went to Chatrabhoga. Chatrabhoga is situated near the village of Āṭagara. And actually, I've been to Chatrabhoga many times. And I think Āṭagara. No, I don't know about Āṭagara actually. But Chatrabhoga definitely with Tirthamarsh on Bengal Prachar. That was one of our places that we'd go to beg rice from all the people and invite them for Navadip Parikrama. In Taittiriya Upanishad 11.2, it is stated, Atiti Devo Bhava, a guest is as good as God. In the Garuda Puran, it is stated, Go doha matrakalam vai pratikshir atiti swayam abhyagatam yatashakti pujayir atiting tata. A guest usually remains at the house of a person for as long as it takes to milk a cow. One serves a guest according to one's ability. I always love that example. As long as it takes to milk a cow. Mm-hmm. How long was that? How long does it take to milk a cow? I'll have to ask Suwal. He's Sarvagan Saha Prabhu. And does that, I wonder why that example is used again and again. Like, is it because as long as it takes to milk a cow and then offer the guest milk, or is it really just talking about time? Or is it a metaphor for something else? As long as, anyways. Sarvagan Saha Prabhu Korilen Bikha Sanyasire Bikha Dharma Koroyena Shikha. The Lord and his associates took their meal at his house. The Lord thus arranged to show how one should feed a sannyasi. This is how one should feed a sannyasi. He used himself as an example because that person was very pious and knew how to serve a guest, I guess. Gaudiya Bhashya. In the Jabala Upanishad, verse 5, it is stated, Atta parivrad vivarna vasa mundo parigraha shuchir adroni baikshano brahma bhushaya bhavatiti. A member of the renounced order becomes fit to realize his spiritual nature by wearing colorless dress, by keeping a shaven head, by not collecting things for himself, by remaining clean, by not fighting with others, and by subsisting on alms. In the Śrīmad Bhagavatam 11.18.18, it is stated, Bhiksham chaturshu varneshu vigarhyan varjayansh charit saptagaran asank. God, I don't know what that's supposed to be there. Asanka, whatever. Asank. Nah, it's broken up all weird. I don't know what to do here. Anyways, yeah, labdena tavata. Oh, that looks so too weird. Anyways, sorry about that. I guess we could just go directly to Srimad Bhagavatam and get the verse. That might be better. Okay, let's do that quick. Uh, yeah, all the verses, like very often the verses are messed up on here, and I usually try to. The Bengali and the Sanskrit verses are often messed up. Here's the verse. Okay, so it's Bhiksham Chaturshu, Chaturshu Varneshu Dirgaryan Varjayans Charit Saptagaran Asankliptangs Tushyal Labdena Tavata. That was the Klipta thing. Okay. Rejecting those houses that are polluted and untouchable, one should approach without previous calculation 7 houses and be satisfied with that which obtains there by begging. According to necessity, one may approach each of the 4 occupational orders of society. So go to 7 houses, and whatever you get at the 7 houses accepts that, but don't go to more. Interesting. In the Garuda Puran, it is stated, Sarva Bhuta Hitashantas Vidandi Sa Kamandalu Ekavaya Parivrajya Bhiksharti Gramam Ashrayat. Carrying a tridandi. That's interesting. It's not a tridanda. Anyways, carrying a tridanda or a tridandi, whatever, and a kamandalu, wearing only a single cloth and concerned for the welfare of all. A sannyasi may sometimes enter a village to beg some alms. I think it's supposed to say tridanda. In the Garuda Puran, it is also stated, Vaiksham Shrutam Tramonitvam Tapo Dhyana Visheshata Samyak Cha Jnanavairagyam Dharmoyam Bhikshuko Mata. The duties of a renunciate are understood to be begging for his sustenance, listening to scripture, and practice of silence, austerity, careful meditation, correct knowledge, and detachment. Those are the duties of a renunciate. We read a whole article by Srila Vamana Goswami Maharaj recently about Bhiksha, right? About the devotees, the renounced sadhus' performance of Bhiksha. So the Lord and his associates took their meal at this person's house, and the Lord thus arranged to show how one should feed a sannyasi. Sarva Ratri Krishna Katha Kirtana Prasange Achilen Ananta Pandita Grihe Range. The Lord happily passed that entire night discussing topics of Krishna in the house of Ananta Pandit. Shubhadrishti Ananta Pandita Pratikori Prabhate Chalila Prabhu Boli Hari Hari. In the morning, the Lord glanced mercifully on Ananta Pandit and chanted the name of Hari as he departed. Deki Sarva Tapahara Shri Chandra Vadan Hari Boli Sarva Lokhe Dake Anukhan. On seeing the Lord's moon-like face, which destroys all miseries, everyone repeatedly chanted Hari Bol. Yogendra Hridaye Ati Durlabha Charan Heno Prabhu Chali Jai Dekhe Sarvajan. The same Lord, whose lotus feet are rarely seen in the hearts of the topmost yogis, was now walking before the vision of all. E Mata Prabhu Jana Vir Kule Kule Ailen Chatrabhog Mahakutuhale. In this way, the Lord walked along the bank of the Ganga till he happily arrived at Chatrabhog. She Chatrabhoge Ganga hoye Shatamukhi Bohite Achin Sarva Jane Kori Shukhi Jalamoy Shivalinga Ache She Sthane Ambulinga Ghat Kori Bole Sarva Jane. In Chatrabhog, the Ganga flows in 100 streams, thereby making everyone happy. At this place, there's a spot known to everyone as Ambulinga Ghat, where there's a Shiva Linga made of water. A Shiva Linga made of water? Huh. I don't remember that when I was there, but I have a terrible memory. Gaudiya Bhashya. Yeah, so this is part of my picture route with Tirthamaraj. I mean, the picture route that we went on. Chatrabhoga is situated in the 41st subdivision of the district of Chobis Pargana. It is situated in the police jurisdiction of Mathurapur. It is 4.5 miles from the Mathurapur railway station. We'd go to Mathurapur a lot also. I know that railway station, which is on the East Bengal railway line. There's a huge temple of Tripura Sundari Mahamaya there. I remember that. There's the Ambulinga Ghat is about 1.5 miles from the temple of Tripura Sundari. The present name of Ambulinga Ghat is Barasigram. Okay. It is situated in the 43rd subdivision within the police jurisdiction of Mathurapur. When Mahaprabhu visited this place, the Ganga flowed in 100 streams on the eastern side of Barasigram. Although at present the 100 streams of the Ganga are not seen, there are still some signs like deep ravines there. The temple of Ambulinga is still found there. When we inquired from the local people, we learned that the temple and its properties were managed by the Mahanta Śrī Satish Giri of Tarakeshwar. But as a result of litigation, they have been transferred to one Śrī Varada Prasad Rai Chaudhary, a landlord of Kashinagar. Within the temple is situated Ambulinga Shiva. There is one piece of stone in that temple that resembles a Goripatta. That's the base that supports a Shiva Linga. In the middle of that stone, there is a hole filled with water. The Ambulinga is situated within that water. On the forehead of that linga, there's sorry about that. The power went out. And so now I'm on my mobile data. Okay. Let's continue on. Share my screen again. All right. 1 second. Okay. So within the temple, okay. So in the middle of that stone, there's a hole filled with water. The Ambulinga is situated within that water. On the forehead of that linga, there is a silver half moon. Above this linga, there are deities of Lakshmi Narayan and Gopal. The site known as Chakratirtha is situated nearly 1 mile southeast of Ambulinga. Oh yeah, local people say that the Ganga flowed through that place long ago. I've been there as well. Chakratirtha. At present, that's in Kashinagar. We have a mutt there in Kashinagar. At present, one can see a pond as the remnant of the Ganga. There is a deity of Vishnu known as Madhav. During the local festival, people first take bath in that pond and then worship the Lord at Chakratirtha. In the month of May 1930, we, along with many other Vaishnavas, visited Chatrabhoga to select a place to establish the footprints of Śrī Caitanya. For an elaborate description of this, one should read Gaudiya magazine, 8th year, number 42. Yeah, and I've been to that Padapit. We actually had there was a huge festival there, and Gaudiya Vaishnavas from all different mutts. There's like hundreds and hundreds of devotees there, and I forgot what the occasion was. There's some big occasion, and we served like hundreds of people, like Gaudiya Vaishnavas, many sannyasis and everything. Now a temple of Sri Gaura's lotus feet has been established at this place by the joint endeavor of the president and the devotees of Śrī Caitanya Math, Mayapur, the birthplace of Sri Gaur. The site of Ambulinga is currently owned by Śrī Yukta Varadakanta Prasad Rai Chaudhary, one can still see moss-covered Ganga water at this place. Oh, I didn't even know all these details when I was there every time. Okay. Ambulinga Shankar hoila je nimitta, she katha kohi shuno hoya ekachitta. Hear attentively the following narration of how Ambulinga Shiva appeared there. Purve Bhagirata Kori Ganga Aradhan, Ganga Anilen Vangsha Udhar Karan. Previously, Bhagirata worshipped the Ganga and brought her to this world to deliver his forefathers. Gangar Virahe Shiv Vivala Hoya, Shiva Ailen Sheshe Ganga Sangariya. Shiva became overwhelmed in separation from the Ganga. While remembering the Ganga, he eventually came to this place. Gangare dekhiya Shiva, Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata, Vivala hoila ati ati Gangar anurage. When Shiva saw the Ganga at Chatrabhoga, he became overwhelmed with attachment for the Ganga. Ganga dekhi matra Shiva Gangai porila, Jal rupe Shiva jana vite mishaila. As soon as he saw the Ganga, he entered the water. He then took the form of water and merged into the Ganga. Jaganmata Janavi o dekhiya Shankar, puja korilen bhakti koriya vistar. When Janavi, the mother of the universe, saw Shiva, she worshipped him with great devotion. Shiva she janin Ganga bhaktir mahima, Ganga o janin Shiva bhaktir jeshima sima. Shiva knew the glories of worshipping the Ganga, and the Ganga also knew the glories of worshipping Shiva. Ganga jal sparshi Shiva, hoila jal moy, Ganga o pujila ati koriya binoy. When Shiva came in touch with the water of the Ganga, he transformed into water, and Ganga also humbly worshipped him. Jal rupe Shiva rohi len she sthane, ambulinga ghatakori ghoshe sarva jane. Shiva remained at that place in the form of water, so everyone glorified this place as Ambulinga Ghat. Ganga Shiva prabhave she Chatrabhoga gram, hoilo paramadhanya mahatirtanam. By the influence of the Ganga and Lord Shiva, this village of Chatrabhoga became most glorious and celebrated as a great tirtha. Tattimade Vishesha Mahima hoilo ar, Paiye Chaitanya Chandra Charana Bihar. This place became even more glorious after Śrī Caitanya visited and enjoyed pastimes here. Chatrabhoge Gela Prabhu Ambulinga Ghate, Shatamukhi Ganga Prabhu Dekhila Nikate. The Lord went to Ambulinga Ghat at Chatrabhoga and saw the Ganga flowing in 100 streams there. Dekhiya hoila Prabhu Anande Bival, Hari Boli Hunkar Koren Kola Holo. On seeing the Ganga there, the Lord became overwhelmed with ecstasy and roared loudly while chanting the name of Hari. Āṭisārā khaye Nityānanda kole kori, Sarva gane joy diya bole Hari Hari. As the Lord forcefully fell to the ground, Nityānanda caught hold of him, and all the devotees chanted, Jai, Hari, Hari. Ananda aveshe Prabhu sarvagane loya, she ghate snana kori len sukhi hoya. In great ecstasy, the Lord happily took bath at that ghat with his associates. Aneka kotuke Prabhu kori len snane, Veda vyasa taha sab likhive purane. While taking bath, the Lord enacted many pastimes that will be described in the Puranas by Vedavyas. Snan kori Mahāprabhu uthilen kule, Jai vastra pore she tite brem jale. After completing his bath, Mahaprabhu came out of the water, but as soon as he put on dry clothes, they became soaked with his tears of love. Prithivite bahe ek shatamukhi dhar, Prabhu nayane bahe shatamukhi ar. 100 streams of the Ganga were flowing on the earth, and another 100 streams were flowing from the Lord's eyes. Wow, beautiful. apurva dekhiya shabe hase bhaktagan, heno Mahaprabhu Gora Chandrer Krandan. The devotees laughed when they saw this wonderful pastime. Such was the crying of Gora Chandra Mahaprabhu. Shehi Grame Adhikari Ramachandra Khan. Um, Ramachandra Khan. Yadyapi Vishaitabu Mahabhagyavan. The administrator of that village was Ramachandra Khan. Although he was a sense enjoyer, he was greatly fortunate. Anyatha Prabhur Shange Tana Dekha Kene Daiva Gati Asya Milila Sthane. Otherwise, how could he see the Lord? By the arrangement of providence, he met the Lord there. Dekhiya Prabhurte Jabhoy Hoila Mane Dola Hoite Satvare na Milo She Khane. When he saw the Lord's effulgence, he became filled with awe and immediately got down from his palanquin. Dandavata hoya porila padatale, prabhur nahiko bahya premananda jale. He fell flat at the lotus feet of the Lord. But the Lord had no external consciousness as he shed tears of ecstatic love. Ha ha Jagannatha Prabhu bole ghane ghan, prithivite pori ghan koro ye krandan. The Lord fell to the ground and cried profusely while repeatedly exclaiming, "Oh Jagannath, ha ha Jagannath." Dekhiya Prabhur Arti Ramachandra Khana, Antare Vidirna Hoilo Sajjaner Pran. When Ramachandra Khan saw the Lord was in such distress, his gentle heart was shattered. Kono mate e artir nahe sambaran, kande ar e mata chinte mane man. He began to cry as he thought, there is no way to check such grief. Tribhuvane heno ache deki she krandan, vidyana na hoy kashta pasha nirman. Anyone within the three worlds who after seeing such crying does not become agitated must have a heart of stone or wood. Kichu stir hoy vaikunter churamani, jigasilo Ramachandra khaneret ketumi. Who are you? After becoming somewhat pacified, the crest jewel of Vaikunta asked Ramachandra Khan, "Who are you?" Sambrame Koriya Danda Vatta Kora Jora. Bole Prabhu Dasa Anu Dasa Muitor. Folding his hands with awe and reverence, Ramachandra replied, "O Lord, I am the servant of your servant." Tabe sheshe sarva loke lagila kohite, e adhikari Prabhu dakkhina rajete. Then other persons there informs the Lord, he is the administrator of this southern province. Prabhu bole tumi adhikari boro bhalo, Nīlācala ami jai kemote shokal. The Lord said, it is good that you are the administrator. Hey! Tell me, how can I quickly reach Nīlācala? Bohoye ananda dhara, kohite kohite, Nīlācala chandra boli porila bhumite. As the Lord spoke, tears of love flowed from his eyes. He then fell to the ground, exclaiming, "Oh, Nīlācala Chandra!" Ramachandra Khana bole, "Shuno Mahashai, Jai Agya Tomar She Kartavya Nishchoy." Ramachandra Khan replied, "Listen, Mahashai, it is certainly my duty to do whatever you order. Shabe Prabhu hoyache vishama samoy, she deshe e deshe keho patta nahi boy." But Lord, the situation is very tense right now. There is no travel between the two states. Rajara Trishul punti yache sthane sthane, patika paile jashu boli loy prane. The king's men have booby trapped the road with sharp spears. If they happen to find the traveler, they accuse him of being a spy and execute him. Gaudiya Bhashya, just as submarines destroy the opposition in the seas, there was a practice of hiding sharp spears beneath the surface of the ground. Spears as sharp as needles were planted in different parts of the road so that inimical people could not enter each other's territory. The idea was that when the enemy army would advance to attack, their feet would be pierced by their sharp spears. The word jashu refers to a spy or infiltrator. Kon dikadiya ba pataya lukaiya, tahate doraya prabhu shuno mana diya. O Lord, listen carefully. I am apprehensive about which way I can send you in secret. Muishe nashkar eta kar mor bhar, nagali paile age shangshay amar. I am the army commander, and I oversee this area. If I am caught helping you, I will be in trouble. Tatapio jete kene prabhu mor noy, je tomar agya taha korimo nishchoy. Still, O Lord, I will somehow or other certainly fulfill your request. Jadi more vrityaheno jnana thake mane, tabe eta bhikha aji koro sarvagane. If you accept me as your servant, then you and your associates will kindly take meal with me today. You'll take your meal with me today. Jati pran dhan kene mohar na jai, aji ratri toma pathaimo sarvathai. I am prepared to lose my caste, life, and wealth, but I will certainly help you cross the border tonight. Shuniya hoila shuki vaikunter nath, hasitane korilen shubha drishtipat. On hearing his words, the Lord of Vaikuntha smiled and glanced mercifully on him. Drishtimatra tar sarva bandha khoy kori, brahmana ashrame rohi leno gorahari. After Gorhari freed him from all material bondage by his merciful glance, the Lord went to stay in that Brahmana's house. Brahmana mandire hoilo parama mangal, pratyakha pailo sarva sukritir phal. Thus, that Brahman's house became sanctified, as he directly perceived the fruits of his past pious deeds. Nana jatne dridha bhakti yoga chitta hoya, prabhur randhan vipra korile nagiya. The Brahman's heart filled with devotion as he began to cook for the Lord with great care. Namishe thakur matra koren bhojan, nijavishe avakasha nahi ekakhan. The Lord ate only as a matter of formality, for he was so absorbed in his own ecstatic mood that he could not be diverted for even a moment. Gaudiya Pasha. When palatable foods were brought before Gaurasundar at the house of Ramachandra Khan, Śrī Mahaprabhu ate only in name. Gaurasundar, who was overwhelmed with love for Krishna, accepted foods offered by Ramachandra only as a matter of formality. Bhikha kore Prabhu priya varga santoshartha, niravadi Prabhur bhojana paramartha. The Lord ate only for the satisfaction of his beloved devotees. The Lord's food always consisted of only spiritual foodstuffs. Gaudiya Bhashya. Oh my God, this is a long one. What time is it? 8:22. What verse are we reading up to? 1 second. I feel bad for Krishnamaya Devi. It must be super late there. Yeah, and I'm wondering about, I was wondering about this, about Ramachandra Khanna. This must be a different one from the other Ramachandra Khanna, right? The offensive person in Chaitanya Charitamrita who made offenses to Haridas Thakur and Nityananda Prabhu. Yeah, I think so. But I don't know. But yeah, I'm guessing. And it's interesting that they have last name Khanna, even though he's a Brahmin. But I guess everybody working like who had different positions, right? Like Rupa and Sanatan had, Santosh and Amar and what is it? Dabir Khas. Sorry, I meant to say Dabir Khas and what was the other one? Yeah.
Sakar
Anyways,
Malik.
Sakar Malik. Yeah.
Sakar Malik.
Yeah, Sakar Malik. So I wonder that maybe that's why his last name is Khan, because people in different positions, government positions, had Muslim names. Maybe. I don't know. It's just an idea. Okay, well, I'll end as soon as we find a good spot. Yeah. Visheshe Chalila. Okay, I just read this. Visheshe Chalila je avadi jaganate nameshe bhojana prabhu koreshe hoite. So, in particular, on his journey to Jagannath Puri, the Lord ate only out of formality. Wait. Oh, sorry. This is the next verse. Should we? I'm just wondering because it's late for Krishnamai Didi. Also, I think maybe we can end here. Yeah, we'll end here. I'll just read a couple of the translations. In particular, on his journey to Jagannath Puri, the Lord ate only out of formality. For the entire journey, the Lord anxiously prayed to Jagannath and forgot himself. The Lord was completely oblivious to everything as he drowned in the mellows of ecstatic love. He did not know whether it was day or night, or whether he had crossed a river, or walked through water, or over lands. Who other than Veda Vyas can describe the ecstasy that Mahaprabhu manifested? Who can understand the Supreme Lord's characteristics? And who can understand when or how Krishna performs his pastimes? Only Nityananda has the power to understand why the Lord lamented and cried. As the Lord of Vaikuntha drowned in the mellows of his own devotional service, he enacted the pastime of forgetting himself. The Lord meditated on his own form as Jagannath and exhibited lamentation to teach others. If the Lord did not glance mercifully on the living entities, who would have the power to know him? The Lord then sat down to eat with his dear associates headed by Nityananda. After taking a morsel of rice, Gaur Hari stood up and roared loudly. The Lord became overwhelmed as he washed his hands and mouth and repeatedly asked, "How far is Jagannath Puri?" As soon as Mukunda began to perform kirtan, the Lord of Vaikuntha began to dance. All the pious persons of Chatrabhoga watched as the Lord, who enjoys pastimes in Vaikuntha, danced. Who can understand the mystery of the Lord's display of transformations of ecstatic love, like crying, shivering, roaring, hair standing on end, becoming stunned and perspiring? The wonderful stream of tears that flowed from his eyes resembled the descent of the Ganga in the month of Bhadra, the monsoon season. Everyone there was bathed by the tears emanating from the Lord's eyes as he whirled around dancing. That is why he is described as the incarnation of love of God, Premoy Avatar. No one other than Chaitanya Chandra had such power. After 9 hours of the night passed in this way, Śrī Gaurasundar became pacified. Everyone there thought that hardly a moment had passed. They were all delivered by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. At that time, Ramachandra Khan came and said, "O Lord, the boat has arrived at the ghat." Śrī Gaurasundar immediately chanted the name of Hari and went to sit in the boat. The Lord cast his auspicious glance on everyone and sent them home. Then he departed for his own abode of Nīlācala. By the order of the Lord, Śrī Mukunda Mahashaya began to perform kirtan as the Lord boarded the boat. The foolish boatman said, "I'm in doubt. I think we will not survive today. If we reach the shore, the tigers will attack us. And if we fall in the water, the crocodiles will eat us. Rogues constantly move about these waters. If they catch anyone, they take both his wealth and his life. Therefore, O Goshais, until we reach Orissa, please remain silent. Stop doing kirtan." When they heard the boatman's words, they became somewhat hesitant. The Lord, however, continually floated in the waters of ecstatic love. After a while, the Lord stood up and roared loudly. He said to everyone, "Why are you afraid? Can't you see the Sudarshan chakra escorting us? It always removes the obstacles faced by the Vaishnavas. Don't worry, chant the glories of Krishna. Don't you see Sudarshan guarding us?" On hearing the Lord's words, all the devotees joyfully began to perform kirtan. Mahaprabhu used this situation to teach everyone, Sudarshan always protects the devotees. All right, so anyways, I'm going way over. This is what we'll be reading tomorrow. Any sinful person who attacks a Vaishnava is burnt to ashes by the fire of Sudarshan. When the devotees have a protector like Vishnu's Sudarshan chakra, who has the power to attack them? This is wonderful. Only a person who is favored by Śrī Gaurachandra can actually understand his confidential topics. In this way, Mahaprabhu was merged in the mellows of Sankirtan as he entered the kingdom of Orissa. So we'll read all this and what happened after Mahaprabhu arrived in Orissa tomorrow. I'll end with short kirtan and then. Yeah, the Bengali says Khan like that. I don't even know how to pronounce that actually. So yeah, it's probably somebody else. Okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol. Yeah, and I feel so bad that even before the reading was going very late for some devotees like Krishna Maya Didi here, who's on the. It must be super late at night now that it's an hour later in America. So I don't know. I have to see if it would be possible, because I do really want to end our reading on Vrindavan Das Thakur's disappearance day, which is on May 3rd. And then I'm going to start a new program going over every single song that Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ever that he wrote. I'm going to start that program on May 8th. So I need to work everything out. But if it's possible to still finish on time, maybe I can like do shorter readings. I have to figure that out though. Yeah, and then maybe we can keep it an hour instead of an hour and a half, and then it doesn't go way too late at night. But I do have to figure it out, because to see how we can actually manage it. So, all right, thank you so much for joining. I'll do a quick, very short Jaidwani, and then we'll end. Jai Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata Gaur Hari Ki Jai. Jai Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju Ki Jai. Jai Srila Gurudev Ki Jai. Jai Srila Param Gurudev Ki Jai. Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Shri Rupanu Gauriya Guru Varga Ki Jai. Swaparshad Ji Gaur Nityānanda Prabhu Ki Jai. Radha Krishna Gopa Gopikana Ki Jai. Shri Giriraj Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi Ki Jai. Jai Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata Ki Jai. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur Ki Jai. The Gaudiya Bhashya of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Mahaprabhu is traveling through Chatrabhoga Ki Jai and into Orissa Ki Jai. Jai, all the associates of Swaparshad Ji Gaur Hari Ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shinitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Vrindai Tulsi Devai Priyai Keshavashacha. Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi Satyavataya Namo Namaha. Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha. Kripa Sandubhya Evacha. Patitanam Pavanebhyo. Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Dandavat Pranams, dear devotees. Dandavat Pranams, Krishna Maya Didi, Shubhananda Prabhu, Nri Hari Prabhu, Bhavatarini Mataji, Gopal Ghanasham Prabhu, and let's see on YouTube and Facebook, Ganga Mataji, Raseshwari Mataji, Kishore Prabhu, Hari Priya Didi, Amit Dandekar, Yamuna Didi, Vidyalalasa Didi, and Sudevi Didi. Shubhananda Prabhu's there as well. And who else? So many devotees. Dandavat Pranams. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for joining, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Hare Bol. Jai Shri Radha.